Hey guys, it's Jane. I'm here for Friday Reads. I haven't read a huge amount this week. I finished Peter Carey's Secret History of the Kelly Gang, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in a moment. I've also read most of this one, Kill Your Darlings. It's an Australian literary journal. I read this for the Dirty Word Society project, which there's another video either before this one or after this one coming out today where I talk about this. So that's all that I've finished this week. The Peter Carey book, A Secret History of the Kelly Gang, was really very emotionally draining, which I should have known. I should have known that by about halfway through, all the intriguing, oh, isn't this interesting, hearing about his childhood and everything that's happened and getting down into his sort of character would give way to all those feelings you feel when you're watching a train wreck about to happen. And yeah, of course, this is a famous historical Australian story, and it ends just like Hamlet, everybody's dead. So the last little bit was really quite emotionally draining. The older I get, the more of a wuss that I am. I long for a happy ending, and especially when I'm as engaged in a story as I was in this one, knowing that it's all going to end badly is not a great place to be. But this is a really incredibly well done retelling of the story of the Kelly Gang. You really feel like you're there for most of it. It's written from the first person, the majority of the book. The structure is that it's 12 or 13 bundles of papers, and you get an outside frame where you kind of get almost a clinical description, like a museum exhibit of the bundle of papers, and from another voice which talks about the physical property of this particular bundle, how many pages, what sort of paper, what the handwriting is, and what sort of condition it is, and also a short description of the contents of that bundle. And then you get inside the bundle Ned Kelly's voice telling you the story of what's happened. Right at the very end, the closing parts are from a newspaper article, an invented newspaper article, because of course he can't tell you the story of what happened to him when he was hung. So yeah, it's, for those of you who don't know the story, Ned Kelly was a bushranger, which is kind of like an outlaw, like a highwayman type of character in the 19th century, northern Victoria, north of Melbourne. He's a product of an extended Irish family who were living on the land in fairly poor conditions, and who felt incredibly hardly done by society at the time. There was the social order was working against them. They felt persecuted by the police. So this was the story of that whole group of people. Ned's story is even more extreme. His father died when he was quite young. His mother basically sold him off to a bushranger as an apprentice. He eventually got away from that situation and was working, according to this telling of the story, was working as a lumberman and minding his P's and Q's and basically being a law-abiding member of society, when he was pulled right back into this world with a particular policeman who got involved with his family and who just made everything bad. By the end of the story, he's shot and killed a number of policemen, and the whole apparatus of law and order is out to get him. His mother is in jail for aiding and abetting a fugitive, and it's just, it all just circles out of control. So it's really very well told, and the particularity of the way that it's written it both draws you in and distances you from the story. You're constantly reminded that this is somebody's version of the story. Each time you get to the end of a packet and you get the very clinical and distancing description of what the contents of the next packet will be, it kind of jars you out of the experience. But then when you're in the middle of reading Ned's version of events, you have totally taken up and carried away by his story. So for people who are looking for a bit more background in that sort of part of Australian history, I can recommend it. And for people who don't mind a tragedy, I can certainly recommend that one as well. As far as what I'm going to be reading from here on in, I am joining in a buddy read of Anthony Trollope's The Warden with Tanya from List Obsessed Reader and another friend of hers whose name I've forgotten right now. I'm really sorry. So we're going to be doing that. For right now, I have a Peter Temple book that I borrowed from the library, which I'm really excited about. Peter Temple is an Australian crime author, and this book is one of the Jack Irish stories. The Jack Irish stories were recently made into an Australian miniseries, and I watched a couple of episodes of them and were really sucked in. So now I've got the books, and that's going to be all good. I also have the complete set of the Kate Shugak books. A fairy godmother who watched my video and last week talking about having to skip from 1 to 10 because I couldn't get hold of the books in between, has emailed me all of the books, the ebooks, so that's a bit exciting. So I'll probably be dipping into 1 or 2 of those as well. I'd love to hear what you guys are up to. I hope you're all well, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.